Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV. I'm your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as every single area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in today's Unfiltered episode, I want to let you know of something very, very important, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, that from the young to the old, from the and everybody in between, from the rich to the poor and everybody in between, has to relate to and has to understand, because that is where your blissful success lies. And what I want to let you guys know of today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is to focus on the ultimate objective of life. Focus on the ultimate objective of life, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. That's my message for today in this Unfiltered episode, because I've been struggling and striving for something for so long, and I really had some idea. I had no idea in the beginning. And then as I went through life, and I've journeyed through life, you know, up until this point, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, I've realized that, you know, there has to be an ultimate objective in life. The ultimate objective in life. And I remember when I was starting to get into this personal professional development industry, I used to be skeptical about everything. And we have the right to, because there's a couple of shady individuals, actually a lot of shady individuals in this industry that are just chasing the money. And they're only doing it for the money, maybe a little bit of purpose in it. That kind of mirrors the reality of those individuals who are out there in it for the right reasons, also making money. Let's not get it twisted, right? But for the most part are focused on the real purpose of helping people and helping people take their lives to the next level, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And that's, you know, in essence what I'm trying to do. And we really have to understand what that is. What is the ultimate objective, and why we should focus on the ultimate objective, and how can we focus on the ultimate objective? It's an important thing that we actually have to do. It's important for us, you know. It's very, very important, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And you know, for me, as someone who's, you know, focused on communication and focused on helping people completely maximize the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as every single area of their lives in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the types of deep questions that we have to ponder, and that you have to ponder as well, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And you know, after communicating it, you know, creating content, writing books and speaking about it, you know, producing training materials, teaching and training materials on it, and coaching and consulting people on that particular thing, and helping them take their lives to the next level. You know, it's important for us to bi'idhnillahi ta'ala know what it is, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. I think I've dragged it long enough. Somebody was actually mad at me for dragging something along, but you know, it's really, really important for us to look at that reality and just make something out of it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I think I got a 5-0 right behind me, so I got to toe the line. But the thing is, you know, I didn't do anything wrong, so you know, I'm not tripping about it. But bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I wanted to let you know, inshallah, the ultimate objective in life. And if I get pulled over, we'll see how that goes, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. But I wanted to let you know of the ultimate objective in life, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, which is to none other than what we've been speaking about for a very long time, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate blissful success. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that in the Quran. I can't remember the ayah, or I don't want to butcher it right now, so I'll just leave it at that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, that the ultimate objective in life is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the indirect way of that was to know Alright, the 50 left so I could drive 150 now. Just kidding. I'm still in law about to see this in your deed. Don't worry about it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create the jinn and the ins except that they worship Him. Jalla wa ala. That we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I was reading into the books of the scholars, they've actually broken down to the definition of what worship means. And the definition of worship is doing anything and everything within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is worship. So with the purest of intentions and utmost sincerity, recording these videos is worship with the right intentions, right? As long as it's halal, as long as it's not haram, and so forth and so on. And, you know, everything in life could be worship with the proper intention, you know, and it needs to be for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that something I'm saying is striking a chord in you. It's lighting some sort of light bulb in you, letting you know what you should be after. Not one of the things that I've really learned about this, and the reason why I'm so fired up about this, is because we have to look at it like this, okay? Everybody's so confused of the means being the end. Never confuse the means as the end, right? The means is getting money, doing business, doing this, praying, and all these other stuff that we're doing. But what is the end? It is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and even worse, if you are displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this dunya you have hell, in the akhirah you have hell. In this dunya, if you are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this dunya you get Jannah, in the akhirah you get Jannah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. That is the basic and simple concept and math that we have to do. Are we pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are we not? And that's the reason why I build this whole brand and this business and this organization that I'm working on and working towards, the Ridwanullah organization and the Ridwanullah TV and everything Ridwanullah. It is because when about 5 years ago or so, between 5 to 10 years ago, I've realized the ultimate objective of life. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as I was thinking about, you know, my book, the first book that I'm going to be writing, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, this has to be it. You know, maybe I'll do another one as a beginner, but this in essence has to be it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I hope that this makes sense. That, you know, you understand the ultimate objective of life, you understand why, and a little bit of how to go get it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Never confuse the means for the end. Always start with the end in mind, understand the means, and go after it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And that's the reverse engineering that I'm doing in my life, and I hope that you do the same, if not better. And my challenge for you today, before I log out and clock out, is to let you know, ask yourself, this is my challenge to you, determine and ask yourself, are you focused on the ultimate objective in life, or are you focused on something else? Why are you focused on something else, if that, and how can you refocus on the ultimate objective in life, which is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV. I would like for you to press the subscribe button and join the notification, press the notification bell to join the Ridwanullah family. And if you've liked this video, please press the like button. It lets me know that you're actually watching, and it lets me know that you appreciate whatever content that I'm producing. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you know, leave your comment below on what the challenge is and what your thoughts are about this video and this content and the ultimate objective of life. And last but not least, you know, if you have a family member that has lost the ultimate objective of life, share this with them and let them know, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning into another episode of Ridwanullah TV Unfiltered. I'm your host and maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, checking out by saying, never ever give up on completely maximizing the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as every single area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah, by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.